Hey, morning guys, or good afternoon, or good night. I don't know the time you will be watching this video. I want to apologize for not having the class yesterday because I am doing many things um right now. But thank you so much because you're here, right? We're not gonna be having the time to meet in person because I had moved to the United States because well, thanks God, right? I had a water with scholarship by Education USA and UNIVO to study in this country, in the United States, my master degree, a master or MA in TESOL. TESOL means teaching English as a second language. So I'm happy for it because this is something new for me. I just got here the day let me see, this last Monday in the morning around 4:40. So I just got here this last Monday. Yes, around 4:40, and I had to be presented right in the university around 8 in mine. Just slept from 5 to 7. Yes, and then took a shower. I got dressed, and I moved right to the university. I was there doing my best, right? Signing many papers, notifying that I am here, and many things, right? And in the afternoon, right? Because I got the university in the morning, and in the afternoon, I mean in the evening, sorry, in the evening, I was attending my classes. One of my classes is about culture, number one is about culture, and I was there. I had many classmates from around the world, from Russia, from Japan, Taiwan, let me see, Nepal, South Korea, and others. And that's fantastic because you can see, right? I study in the university, right? In El Salvador, I study in Univo as well as you, and it's the same English. It's the same. I'm here and speaking, giving my ideas right, providing my ideas, reading, participating, answering when they asked, sharing with classmates, and many things. So you can see pretty similar in the university, right? So guys, thank you for being so patient with me, right? But I will be your teacher from here to there. Mhm. And if you have any questions, you can write me. You got my number, right? And everything. Right? Any question, just ask to me, right? You can say, teacher, I don't understand something. Teacher, can you please help me with this? I will be there because I will be here for 3 years. But uh, my authorities in the university asked me, right? Could you please continue teaching the student you have right now? I say, yes, why not? Got it. I have no problem. What I want you to do is like be patient with me, right? I'm not gonna be damage you. I'm not gonna be a tight person or a bad person with you. I will be trying to teach you right now. I'm teaching you from this room, right? But one of these days, I will be recording me or teaching you from the university, from the library, from let me see, from some buildings right there, so you can meet this place right as well as me, right? I want you to get in contact with this culture very nice in one I want that others like my students or friends right that are studying for being teachers or who are studying English have this opportunity. So I'm here to help. I'm here to serve like a bridge for others. Okay. So our class will be about this one, beyond limits. I like it. Remember that we are finishing right with this month, the listening part. It says beyond limits. Nice. I like it. I like the topic. So let me see. Let me just watch this one. Look at this guy, right? Look at this one. Look at him. Little boy, as you can see, and it says right here the quote or the 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 topic in here. When Kelvin Dew was 13 years old, he began searching through the trash cans of Freetown. This is something that we can see in El Salvador as well, right? Very common, you know. Sierra Leona, looking for a spare electronic parts eventually, but enough parts to put together an entire homemade radio station. How he broadcast music, comedy, and news features to his community under the nickname General Focus. But this man is very incredible, this guy, right? He's like looking many things in the garbage, right? Cans, fissures, and things that he nets. And as you can see right over here, he discovered the beauty of invention. So the last day was my first day teaching students in this university, in this country. I was teaching to I got new teachers right here. Not only you, I am having a student from Japan, South Korea, Nepal, Afghanistan, and one student from Chile. Right? She's the only one that speaks Spanish. In this area, it is not possible to see anyone speaking Spanish, just English, French, or any other language or a Japanese or Chinese, but not Spanish. Believe me, it's like bursting my breath because in my mind, I am between two things, right? One that no one speaks Spanish. If I want to know something, I need to memorize new things, right? Because yesterday I was in a super, I mean, it was in a mall buying many things, right? Buying supplies or groceries, and I stopped myself thinking, how can I say this in English? And then around me, no one was speaking Spanish, so so I had to learn, and I started looking at right. So this is very incredible. When you are in a position like this boy, you discover the beauty of invention, the beauty of doing your best, right? Discover who you are. That's nice. Okay, it says in here, read the title. So we have written and write the title. I will read the title, sorry. What do you think it means? Beyond limits? Beyond limits is like I can do this because I know it is possible, right? I can do it. So I like it. So you can improve your listening for it if you do your best, right? You can. I am improving in this country my listening because, well, I am listening English since early in the morning until night. And I say, oh, pay attention what do people saying to me right? Doing it. Let me see. So listen this one. It says communicate dynamic. We are not going to be working in pairs or groups, right? It says in here different brains, different ways of learning. We are all different to learn. We're not the same. We can say, well, I am not like that person. I am not like um let me see. I am very different. I can do many things that many others cannot maybe. Mm, well, well, in many things, right? This is pretty nice because we are not the same. This is what we are different. So say right here, look at the photo. I mean, this one, and as you can see, very strange, right? Semantically talking, it's very strange. It says different brain, different ways of learning. How do you think the photograph relates to the title? The title says different brains. Well, right here it says you can see brain scan a temple granting left compared to someone without autism. Brent's visual output area is much larger than a typical person. A typical person can say that this doesn't make sense to me, right? But maybe for person who suffered this in being something different. This is brain. Okay, go to this part. It says right over here, this one. It says what you have to do is the same, right? Because in this way we improve our listening. Think critically, predict, read equations about the radio interview you are going to hear and predict the answers. Then listen to the beginning of the interview and check your answers. Okay, so let's do this right now. Just wait a minute. Okay, one, two, oh. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Give me 1 minute because I need to know if this will be recording. Nice. One, two, and three.
Part 1, page 65. Exercise B. Think critically. Predict.
Good afternoon. As a part of our series on our university's graduate students, Sarah Denby is here from the School of Education to talk about her research. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
So, could you give us an overview of your work?
Sure. I research people with unusual brains. At some point in their lives, all of them were told that they could not learn, but later became successful. And interestingly, for many of them, their success is not in spite of their so-called differences and limitations, but rather because of them.
That's interesting. Could you provide some clarification by talking about someone in your study?
Okay, nice. I think you have already seen this, right? Wait a minute. Okay. So you have to work on it. It's everything. Now, read the vocabulary. You have to remember that you have to put a sheet of paper and then upload it. If you are working hard on it, you will be improving for sure. Read and listen to the sentences with words from the radio interview. Choose the meaning for each word. We all had limitations that make it difficult for us to do certain things. For example, I don't have a good visual sense, so I could probably never be an artist. So you have to choose the best answer. Screenshot this part, do it, and continue, right? This is something that you have to continue completing. Okay, just this part, just this one. Okay, this one. Screenshot this one and keep working on it because we are moving in right now to this part. Remember, our class is about listenings. Okay, in here it says, listen for main ideas, read the statement, then listen to the interview for each statement, write T for true, F for false, and or N for items not mentioned in the interview. So 1, 2, and 3.
Page 67. Exercise E. Listen for main ideas.
Good afternoon. As a part of our series on our university's graduate students, Sarah Denby is here from the School of Education to talk about her research. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
So, could you give us an overview of your work?
Sure. I research people with unusual brains. At some point in their lives, all of them were told that they could not learn, but later became successful. And interestingly, for many of them, their success is not in spite of their so-called differences and limitations, but rather because of them.
That's interesting. Could you provide some clarification by talking about someone in your study?
Sure. Dr. Temple Grandin was diagnosed with autism in 1949 at the age of 2. At that time, little was known about the condition, and people with autism were not expected to do much with their lives. After diagnosis, many ended up in institutions where they got progressively worse and eventually died.
I assume that was not the outcome for Dr. Grandin.
Fortunately, no. She's a professor of animal science at Colorado State University and a writer. She also designs equipment to handle animals that are raised for food, such as cattle for beef. She's designed the facilities for almost half of the cattle in the United States.
So, how has she been so successful?
Well, Dr. Grandin is highly intelligent, as her achievements show. However, she still finds many everyday things difficult or impossible to do. For example, she is unable to remember more than 3 simple instructions, and she has extreme difficulty with abstract thinking. These difficulties could have meant the destruction of her dream of becoming a scientist.
So how did she do it?
Her family's support was important, but scans of Dr. Grandin's brain also provide some answers. The part of her brain that controls the coordination of movement is 20% smaller than average. The area that handles short-term memory is also small. On the other hand, the side that processes visual information is unusually large. This helps explain her effective approach to thinking and learning.
So what is that approach?
Dr. Grandin thinks in pictures rather than words. For example, she can design a complex cattle facility entirely in her mind, image by image, and later draw it from memory. She says that her thinking process is similar to animals. She believes that's one of the reasons she's so good at her work.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. One time she was asked to solve a problem in a cattle processing facility. To handle a large number of cattle, you often need to get them to calmly walk in a line. In this facility, something strange kept happening. The cattle would be walking along when suddenly one of them would become paralyzed with fear and stop moving. This always happened at exactly the same place. However, nobody in the plant was able to see anything different about that spot. It was then that they contacted Dr. Grandin. As soon as Dr. Grandin saw the facility, she identified the problem. There was a hole in the roof that let light in exactly above the spot where the cattle stopped moving. Once the hole was covered, the cattle immediately calmed down.
But why was it so obvious to Dr. Grandin when it wasn't visible to anyone else?
Because of how her brain works. When she looks at something, her mind creates an exact image of that thing and everything around it. For most people, this would be a serious problem. Our brains cannot handle all of the visual information that is constantly entering it, so we miss a lot of things. However, the visual part of Dr. Grandin's brain is so well developed, and she has learned to use it so effectively that she notices things that others miss. In fact, Dr. Grandin believes that autistic people could solve problems that seem impossible to people with normal brains if they, and we, stopped focusing so much on their disability.
Fascinating. So, what do you hope to achieve through your research?
Well, I think Dr. Grandin is right. We must transform our way of looking at brain differences and stop thinking of them as disabilities.
Thank you, Sarah. Good luck with your research.
Thank you.
Okay, we have already finished this activity. Thank you for watching it. What you have to do, you know, right? It is to pay attention, decide if it is true, false, or items not mentioned. So that's it, right? Very good. Now we have to move to this part. Okay, this one, it says segment. What I want you to do is the same. Pay attention to the segment and complete the segment. 1, 2, 3.
Page 68. Exercise F. Listen for details. Segment 1.
Well, Dr. Grandin is highly intelligent, as her achievements show. However, she still finds many everyday things difficult or impossible to do. For example, she is unable to remember more than 3 simple instructions, and she has extreme difficulty with abstract thinking. These difficulties could have meant the destruction of her dream of becoming a scientist.
Okay, nice. Very good. Now this one.
Pages 68 and 69. Exercise F. Listen for details. Segment 2.
Her family's support was important, but scans of Dr. Grandin's brain also provide some answers. The part of her brain that controls the coordination of movement is 20% smaller than average. The area that handles short-term memory is also small. On the other hand, the side that processes visual information is unusually large. This helps explain her effective approach to thinking and learning.
Okay, nice. We have already finished with this part. Now we have to move to this one. Remember, what we have to do in here is just improve our listening, and you have to keep working on it in your house, right? Now, this one, it says pronunciation. Listen to the words. Check the ending to hear for each word. Then listen again and repeat each word. So, pay attention. Check the ending you hear for each word. So you got it? 1, 2, 3.
Page 71. Exercise I. 1,
Asked,
2,
Identified.
3,
happened,
4,
Paralyzed.
5,
diagnosed,
6,
Transformed.
7,
expected,
8,
Covered.
9,
Contacted.
10,
Developed.
Okay, finish, right? Very good. Now this one, listen to the excerpt for the radio interview using the bold-faced signal words and phrases as reference point. One time, so do it, right? 1, 2, and 3.
page 71, exercise J.
One time she was asked to solve a problem in a cattle processing facility. To handle a large number of cattle, you often need to get them to calmly walk in a line. In this facility, something strange kept happening. The cattle would be walking along when suddenly one of them would become paralyzed with fear and stop moving. This always happened at exactly the same place. However, nobody in the plant was able to see anything different about that spot. It was then that they contacted Dr. Grandin. As soon as Dr. Grandin saw the facility, she identified the problem. There was a hole in the roof that let light in exactly above the spot where the cattle stopped moving. Once the hole was covered, the cattle immediately calmed down.
Okay, nice. Let me see. Okay, this is the only thing that you have to do today. Thank you for staying here. Have a nice day, guys. Goodbye.